Hi, I'm Molly Malone. I'm a grade 10 student at Prince of Wales Collegiate.
My name is Sebastian Carew. I am currently attending Gonzaga Regional High School.
Hi, I'm Madison Malone. I'm a grade 10 student at Prince of Wales Collegiate.
So this project started out as something because originally we just wanted to complete our career hours, and then it grew into something much bigger. And when we started talking together, I think we had a lot of creativity, and it grew into something much more exciting.
We are excited for people to tune in to our endeavors into talking to new people and expanding the minds of youth.
So come join us for lots of opportunities, advice, and tips. So, yeah.
And thank you for listening.
Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Future is Youth podcast. Today we have the pleasure of interviewing Brendan Nobes.
Thank you. We'll find out what a pleasure it is.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am a general contractor here in St. John's. We're a firm that's based out of Halifax. I've been in the industry for 35 years as a general contractor. I started out in the field as a laborer and worked my way up through, and so now I look after the office in Newfoundland. I look after our large projects in Halifax, and I'm also chair of the Canadian Construction Association, which is the national association that supports construction.
Cool.
Wow. And tell us about your role with the Construction Association.
Okay. So my role is as chair of the board. So the way that the association works is that a company would be a member of the Newfoundland Construction Association, and part of the what they pay to be a member and support the Newfoundland Construction Association goes to the National Association. And so our job is to advocate for the industry. So we would go and we meet with the federal government, and we tell them things that we need, such as infrastructure spending. So in order to make sure that hospitals and roads and bridges and that kind of stuff are built, then the government has to support that work on a federal level. So we go and we support infrastructure funding, and then we get involved in immigration, and we get involved in some of the training, because again, it's about workforce and supporting workforce and ensuring that we have a workforce here. And also we look at fair procurement practices, which is the tendering and the bidding. We have a suite of documents in Canada called the Canadian Construction Documents Council. And they do standardized documents for the industry. So if there's a contract between the owner and the builder, usually it's a CCDC contract. So we get involved at that level and work with the federal government to try to make sure that our industry is supported.
And for the youth out there, how can they get into your onto your business? Would you say?
There's lots of ways.
Yeah.
It's funny when. I was driving past today the new mental health building, and there's probably 200 construction workers on that building on any given day. So there's the trades, which is a great way to get involved in the industry. But our industry also has people involved in the insurance end. Yeah. We have people that are involved on the legal end. We have people that are involved on the engineering side. We have project managers. We have estimators, we have accountants. So to say that the industry is only one thing, it's not just the worker, it's also so many other things that support that. So there's a lot of opportunity. So you could go to law school and decide that if you like construction, construction law could be the route that you go. And there's one of the better construction lawyers is actually here in St. John, Stephanie Hickman, cool. who's a big part of the industry, and there's opportunities in that. Engineers, again, designing the buildings, architects who design the buildings, and then right down to the person who's sweeping up the floors and making sure that the industry goes. So there's lots of opportunities. It doesn't have to be you have to go to an engineering school or become an engineer. There's there's a lot of opportunities for what's called an apprenticeship program.
Yeah.
So if you find an industry or a trade that you like, going and working in that trade,
Yeah.
there's opportunities to go through vocational school training, and so there's a lot of ways to get in.
Yeah, cool.
What advice would you give to a young person trying to get into the construction field?
I think it would be open-minded.
Yeah.
Like I say, there's lots of opportunities, and you have to be, willing to take them. So, it may be that you if you're in the trades, that you like one aspect of it, or you may get involved and you find out that's really not what you want to what you want to do, be a carpenter, but you see an electrician that's there and you think, well, that might be a little more interesting, or a plumber, or you might see the project manager or engineer. So, be open and aware of all the opportunities that are there, and also being having versatility. So when we have in our office, one of the things that I'm a big believer in is ensuring that people can do many things. So somebody who goes into a construction office and who's starting out as an estimator, which is their role is to do it, to figure out what the price of something's going to be. They estimate what the value of the job is. But somebody who can estimate and only does that, that's all they can do. So if somebody can estimate and they can manage a project and they can, do the cost reporting for it, that versatility means that, you're a construction professional, and that's kind of the way, the way forward.
Cool.
We're sitting here and I'm noticing all the pictures of the buildings on the wall. Why
Yes.
don't you tell us about some of your projects?
Well, some of the projects, here in Newfoundland that we've done we've been particularly proud of. We did the new library in CBS, which is just tomorrow. I know this dates this whole thing, but the grand opening is tomorrow, which is
Cool.
really neat. We were involved in all of the renovations at the Avalon Mall that it just went through. That was our firm that did that. We've done a number of law offices. We've in specifically McGinnis Cooper. We've done here. We've done a few restaurants, Montana's, and we've done what else? Swiss Chalet. So we've been in Newfoundland for about 12 years now, and in Halifax, some of the projects we've done is the Nova Center. I don't know if you've seen the new convention center. We were in the we were there, and at Mount St. Vincent we did their new. We did a science lab building there, and we also did the McCain building, which is a new teaching facility. So, we've done, small specialized renovations to large, big buildings. So,
What was your favorite project to work on?
It's funny when people ask me that. It's not about usually the project.
Yeah.
It's about the people.
Okay.
So
Cool.
you'll end up with an ownership team that's engaged and interested, and so whether it's big or small, then it's really the team that you're working with.
Cool.
Right now in Halifax, we're building a new Ronald McDonald House,
Yeah, cool.
which is really a lot of fun, and it's a great group to work with. That one's right now is probably my favorite.
Yeah, cool.
Doing work at Mount St. Vincent University was fun. Doing the McGinnis Cooper renovations here, they were a great group to work with. So
Nice.
it's not necessarily driven by what the project is, although the projects are cool too. But when the piece that you remember is the team.
Yeah, the people.
So,
That's cool.
Yeah.
Would you say that's one of your biggest values in working with people?
Yes, I mean some people are tougher to get along with, but it's it's kind of. There's always going to be a problem. There's always going to be a situation. There's always going to be something that you have to work through. Material may not arrive. Something is running late.
Yeah.
So what's important is that you have a group that can work through that problem together and solve it together, because I always tell people that it's not one person that got us here, and it's not going to be one person that gets us out of it. So you have to collaborate and work together as a team to solve that problem. And
Absolutely.
sometimes it might be that we can't solve that problem, so we have to do something different, revise the date, or come up with a different method, or open a different area. But as long as everybody's collaborative and works together on the problem, then there's always a way to solve it.
That's good.
And just thinking about the youth out there, can you tell us about your education after high school?
Yep. So my father was a mid-sized general contractor. So I went through high school and I was never going to be in construction. I didn't want to be in construction. There was no way I wanted to be in construction. Because I hated being cold. I hated being cold so much that I didn't want to be in the summer. That's how much I hated being in the cold.
Wow.
And I was on site probably when I was 14 years old. I started out as a laborer and worked my way up through, and I was never going to be in construction. So when I graduated from high school, I went to Mount Allison University and I took English and history because I was not going to be in construction. I thought about being a teacher, which now in retrospect, I probably wouldn't have been a very good teacher, but that's what my goal was going to be. And so when I graduated from university, my marks were not stellar. I kind of just made it through. I enjoyed my degree, but I was not a student. So we were driving somewhere and my father said, "So what are you going to do now?" And I was working in a bar at the time, and I said, "Well, I don't know." He said, "Well, if you think that you're going to live at home and be a rat, which is basically work all night and then sleep all day, you're crazy. Why don't you try getting into construction?" And they had a program in Halifax called the Construction Technology Program, Construction Administration Technology it was called. And he said, because he said, "I can get you in," although I had no sciences. They needed physics and engineering and everything. I'm like, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, you can get into that program and then see how you like it." And I said, "So what do you think of construction as a career?" And his line to me was, "It's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick." So when I was named chair of CCA the first time, it's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. So, but I went to that program, and that program used to take 25 people in it, and then they would graduate 5. Like that's
Wow.
by the end of the first term, they would lose most of the people. And then at the start of the second year, they would lose a bunch more, but it would usually graduate about 5 people to go into the industry. I survived. There was some tough times, but I made it through, and I worked in the summer in the office as an estimator and kind of worked for my father for 6 years and 7 years. And he had the same philosophy about versatility, and when we went, he used to say all the time that the chairs have wheels. So if you take the big one, or somebody takes the big one, he used to call it a heart attack. If somebody has the big one in the middle of closing the tender, you can wheel them out, and you can wheel in, and you can do that. And we had no titles on cards, because if you came in and the front step needed to be shoveled, then that day you were a laborer. So it was a great education that way, and I worked for him for quite a few years, and then he was winding up his business, and I went and I worked for another firm that was bigger, and I kind of worked my way up through to where I am now.
What's your motivation?
I like building things.
Yeah.
I like solving a problem. I like kind of untangling that knot. That's kind of a lot of fun for me.
Yeah.
And I like the finished product. When you drive past a building that you were involved in, and that sense of pride, and I was involved in that, and or even if it's a larger project, I've been fortunate enough to be involved in some fairly large projects that are pretty monumental, and that's the big drive for me. The role as chair and those, I'm not a big resume person, but the body of work, it's the body of work.
Yeah, cool.
What would you say the biggest lesson you've learned so far has been?
I think it depends on the situation. One of the biggest things I learned, I think, and you learn every day, and everybody tells you that, but you really do learn every day. You could go to, one of the things that I learned when I started on the association was when you see somebody in a big meeting and they start talking, and you think, that person is really smart. And then you meet them in a small group and you go, that person is not quite as smart as I thought they were. You get caught up that way. So not really not to underestimate people. Everybody has a skill, and once you find that skill that they do and give somebody an opportunity to thrive, then that's a big piece of what what makes people successful.
Cool.
Absolutely. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for sitting down with us
Thanks for
today.
coming
Thank
on.
you very much.
Oh, it is my pleasure. I think that I watched the intro, and I know that you're going to do really well with this, and I'm honored to be the first guest.
Well,
Perfect.
we're
Thank you.
honored as well.
Thank you.
you.
Thanks
You're
for coming on.
No
And thanks for watching, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, I'm Molly Malone. I'm a grade 10 student at Prince of Wales Collegiate.
My name is Sebastian Carew. I am currently attending Gonzaga Regional High School.
Hi, I'm Madison Malone. I'm a grade 10 student at Prince of Wales Collegiate.
So this project started out as something because originally we just wanted to complete our career hours, and then it grew into something much bigger. And when we started talking together, I think we had a lot of creativity, and it grew into something much more exciting.
We are excited for people to tune in to our endeavors into talking to new people and expanding the minds of youth.
So come join us for lots of opportunities, advice, and tips. So yeah,
And thank you for listening.
thank you.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.